There's a bigger game in this conference. Am I allowed to say that, Trevor? There's a college game day game in this very conference in Lawrence, Kansas, on the same day as the Red River Shootout. I can't get over that. I've said it out loud like 7 times. I still can't believe it's happening. Oklahoma, we have no idea if Dillon Gabriel is going to play in this game. We do know that Texas's quarterback is back. Quinn Ewers has been cleared. He will be starting in this game. And I don't think that's good news for the current state of the Oklahoma defense, Trevor. So what do you expect from your Sooners heading into this game? Are they prepared to go make this a battle or to win this football game?
Yeah, well, I mean, first and foremost, if you were to tell me prior to this season starting that here is, the 6th game of the season for both of these teams, that neither one of them would be ranked, and that Kansas and TCU were not only both ranked but hosting college game day, as you mentioned, I would have put my mortgage on it. I would have put my life savings on that. That is a crazy, crazy, crazy line right there. That being said, you got 2 3-2 ball clubs, a Texas team, if we look back, that has the ability, we say, on the defensive side of the ball to play at an extremely high level that we saw against Alabama. But then they turn around and play very subpar against a pretty pedestrian Tech team. And then you see the Oklahoma team, and I got a lot of flack for this past week, whose defense has struggled extremely bad in the last 2 weeks, allowing 96 points in 2 weeks against 2 teams that, in my opinion, they shouldn't allow that to happen to. And then what we've talked about a little bit, you got 2 quarterbacks in this game, one that's coming back from injuries, so we'll see how he's doing and how he's able to get back in there and get his rhythm going and those types of things that are important at the quarterback position. And another one that's still day-to-day, it hasn't been named yet, and a quarterback room that doesn't have a whole lot of depth. And so there's just some unknowns going into this one. That being said, unranked matchup, not a whole lot of excitement other than the fact that I'm going to get my peanut butter paradise and I'm going to go into one of, in my opinion, one of the greatest venues in college football on top of, including a couple others, the Big House and some of these big rivalry games, but split right down the middle, one side crimson, one side burnt orange. Like I mentioned, the state fair going on. It's going to be a really fun atmosphere with just 2 teams that aren't playing extremely good football right now.
Hack, he threw the Big House out as one of the best venues. I just got to get your pulse check on that. Is that an accurate statement?
It's cool, but it's not loud at all. For as big as it is, like, it should be way louder. It's not loud. But anyway, we'll get off that. We'll get off that topic because I can't be, I can't be making any more accusations past that.
I thought I saw it in your eyes there. Hack,
I know.
So, we'll throw this over to you, right, for your analysis of this game in general. But I do want to note from a betting perspective, because I'm the resident gambler here, BetRivers, the line is Texas -9 going into this football game, which I guess makes sense given the quarterback situation and the health of Dillon Gabriel. But that still seems like a lot of points in this rivalry for this Texas team to be favored by, no?
I don't know. I mean, Trevor's the guy that's like, this is the Trevor quote, rivalry games, throw everything out the window. Right. And I completely agree with him. It's hard because like the analysis, like looking at it from a deep dive, looking at the big picture, looking at where every team's at, how they've been playing, when we've gotten to watch them. I think this Texas team's in a better position than Oklahoma is heading into this, as long as Ewers can stay healthy. But even Hudson Card played well and, decent enough the last couple weeks, efficient enough to win games for him, for the most part, or put them in positions to win games. Right. I don't think you can say the same about the Oklahoma team and quarterback room. But then there's the wild card of Brent Venables. And I think a pissed off Brent Venables is going to do everything he can. And he's heard about the defense now for 2.5, 3 weeks. He's going to come in prepared, I think. And if he doesn't, it would shock me if they came out and laid another egg defensively. So I think it's going to be tighter than that. But I mean, when I look at it, my toast, your really piss poor toast suggestion prior to us coming on my toast was going to be the return of Quinn Ewers, because I thought it was a shame the way he went down in the Alabama game, was playing really well. And I was excited to see if he could pick up from where he left off, which to Trevor's point is tough to do, taking a couple weeks off. So, but that's really what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the Texas team, and, I think Brent's going to get that defense ready to rock.
So that's my player to watch of the entire weekend across the country is Quinn Ewers. And here's why. He played really good for a couple of series in that Alabama game, in which they played, the Texas team as a whole played very well. I am not convinced yet that Quinn Ewers coming back is going to move the needle that much in this matchup. I'm just not, because like you mentioned, Hudson Card, he's come in, he's played pretty well. I don't think, given the quarterback battle and how long it took to name Quinn Ewers the starter, I don't think there's that much disparity between these two guys. I think it was edged out by Quinn Ewers, and again, played pretty well in a couple of series before he went down. You don't want to see that. So if Quinn Ewers comes into this football game and lights Oklahoma up, I will sit back in my chair next week. I'll sip whiskey the entire show, and I won't say a single word.
What if he throws for 275, 2 touchdowns, and no picks, and they win the game?
Yeah, I think that's a very solid game. 100%. That's what I want to see out of it.
Well, that's the thing and that's the other thing though, is I feel like a lot of people put the expectation on a kid like that coming in, right? Ton of expectation, Texas kid, huge recruiter. But like at the end of the day, he's still got to grow, right? Yeah. So like that's what always scared me about even his expectations going into the first game. I thought he played fine the first game. I thought they protected him a little bit. I thought he missed a few things, but I think overall he did well. And then to see him grow into that performance that he was putting on against an Alabama team was, to me, there was big jumps there, right? For a kid, for his first year starting, first exposure to college football, big jumps. So to your point, I think if he can kind of pick up right where he left off in that area code, I think he's on the right trajectory to finish out the year strong.
I just, the last thought here on the Ewers deal, Greg, and we can move on. I just know that it's happened to me. I'll pick out a game. 2014, we were playing Baylor at home. Jumped out. I was playing fantastic. We jumped out 14-0 on those guys. Bryce Petty and a great Baylor team that ended up winning the Big 12 that year. Jump out 14-0. After that, they ended up beating us, I think, 42-14. All right? I ended up playing horrible the rest of the game. It was one of those days that we've all had, right? But my point to that is I had a great couple of series to start the game, and then it fell off. So I'm not saying that Quinn Ewers can't do it. He has shown us he's got the ability to move the football down the field. I just want to see him put a great game together from start to finish.
No doubt.
Doesn't have to be a hero, to your point, Hack. Just go in there and operate the offense the way we've seen he's capable of doing. And then I want to see him do that for a couple weeks in a row for the rest of this season if we're really going to get on the Ewers train.
No doubt.
Final thing for these two teams, then we'll move to the college game day game here. But there's 4 teams at the top of the Big 12 right now that do not have a loss in the loss column, right? Texas, 1-1. Now Oklahoma, 0-2. Do either of these teams, I think it would have to be the winner of this game. I don't think the loser of this game is going to factor into anything in the conference race, just to call it what it is. But does the winner of this game, whoever it is, ever factor into the Big 12 conference race at the end of this season? Yes or no? Trevor, what do you think?
I think the answer is maybe. And you've got to put on a show, and people have got to beat up on each other throughout the rest of the season for you to have a shot. And I mentioned something about it with starting a conference schedule off 0-2 for Oklahoma. I mentioned that it was somewhat of a failed season. And my meaning behind that is when you sit in the locker room, put your goals up, and every team does it. What are our goals for this year? One of the first ones up there is win a conference title. And if you're not putting yourself in a position to do that at a place like Oklahoma, that is failing to meet your goals. Now, there's still a lot of football left. These guys are going to grow. I think they've got a lot of pieces of the puzzle that are going to be integral this year, next year, so on and so forth. But if now you lose 3 in a row, first of all, that doesn't happen at Oklahoma. Second of all, now you're really not in the race for the Big 12 title. it's a bad place to be, and one of these teams is going to be in that position after Saturday.
I think Texas could get there if they win this game. If they don't, obviously, I think both teams are essentially out of it. But if Texas comes out 2-1 from this spot, they're there, Hack.
I'm on that train. I think if Texas can do it, yes. And again, it's going to be very dependent. Can Ewers get out healthy? Can they keep the thing going in the right direction? But I think it's going to be tough to beat that Oklahoma State team.
Yeah.
Anybody in that conference, I think it's going to be tough beating that Oklahoma State team. But that's a whole another conversation, and I'm not going to jump ahead.